Welcome to the Time to Fly podcast. It's time to give your business wings and take flight to achieve more impact, influence, and income with unique perspectives, tools, and tips from successful entrepreneurs and business professionals to help your business fly. Here to educate, encourage, and entertain you with their own unique perspectives and experience, plus sharing anecdotes of growing up as cowgirls. Here's your co-hosts, Jill Fleming and Nikole Haumont.
Welcome to this episode of Time to Fly, Give Your Business Wings. I'm your co-host, Jill Fleming, and I'm here today with my co-host, Nikole Haumont. Welcome to 2020. It is a brand new decade, and we're excited to do a quick recap of 2019 and then visit with what 2020 has in store for us. So in spirit of tradition, we did this last year. This is our second year with our podcast, so we appreciate all of our listeners tuning in. We're just going to do a quick recap of 2019. So first up, Nikole, would you like to talk a little bit about your year?
I would. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. 2019 was actually a stellar year. I honestly don't know how I'm going to top it in 2020, but it's the beginning of a brand new decade. There's lots of opportunity. I was awarded the New Business of the Year in our Chamber of Commerce here in Green Valley and Sahuarita. That was an award I was not expecting, so it was great to be recognized by the Chamber. And then I was honored as one of the AZ-19 region's most influential people, which was a surprise to me too. So I was so grateful having both of those recognitions. But the biggest thing this year that really drove my business and my personal life forward was actually being selected as one of the 3 finalists in our mini Shark Tank here in Sahuarita. I love to compete. And even though I didn't win, I still brought my A game. And that's what I try to tell people is there's a difference between winning and competing. Yes, of course you want to win. But if you compete at your absolute best level, then you brought your A game and you left everything on the table. That's the part that I like to do. And that's truly something I'm trying to instill in my child, too. And believe me, he is getting pretty competitive.
Yes, and when you absolutely do your best and you put it all out there, even though you didn't win, there's been a lot of opportunities that have been popping up after the fact that you putting out your A game and everyone seeing your A game has still helped your business grow. So I think that a lot of us get into a spirit of perfection. And I know I'm really bad at that. It's like, okay, if I can't go out and do my absolute best and I can't come out on top, is it worth all of the effort? And I think that there's many times that we just need to leave the dock and set sail and let the wind blow where we blow, because you never know what it'll take us. But first you have to raise your anchor and go. And that's one of the biggest things, is not letting that perfectionism paralysis stop you from even stepping forward. And I know that's something that I've struggled with in the past as well.
And one thing, too, that I was excited about with the Shark Tank is I spent 5 months expanding my knowledge on profit mastery and on goal setting. And I get to share that information with other business owners. There is so many financial statistics you can look at and choose which ones you want to guide your business by. And it's really helping me set up for a solid 2020 and beyond. So Jill, you had a pretty awesome 2019. You have some great things that you want to share about. Can you fill us in a little bit more?
Yes, 2019, I will say, was the year of transition for me. And I had to have a lot of fun adventure as well. I started out the year living in San Diego, California. And then as of the end of April, I needed to move out of the place I was living in. And I had so much travel planned for different work events that I decided to just put all of my stuff in storage and live out of my suitcase. So little did I know that it was going to be for 7 months. It was quite an adventure, and it definitely was an experience being quote unquote homeless for that long, and also just really realizing the amount of relationship capital that I have, of the amazing friends that were like, hey, come stay with me for a few days. Being able to go home and see my mom and spend some time with her was wonderful. And then I also had the opportunity that popped up for me to be able to go to Italy for almost 5 weeks. And that was just being open to where I was led and just trusting in the process and trusting in the transition and being able to go and be in Italy for almost 5 weeks. I started in Sicily and worked my way all the way up to the Alps. And just that experience was definitely a once in a lifetime experience that I am so grateful for. And so many lessons learned as well of just being willing to expand your comfort zone and get out and try something new. And also traveling with friends of mine, really working on communication skills, because when you're traveling, there's usually things that come up. And I've had lots of training in corporate communications and leadership trainings and how to communicate effectively. And boy, did I learn how to put that to the test. Then once I got back, I made the choice to move over to be closer to my co-host. She's here close to Tucson, Arizona. So I moved over here to Tucson, Arizona for the winter and found a place to perch for the winter, and am deciding whether or not I will make that permanent or not. We'll see if I can handle the heat here in the summertime. But also it's been really fun as I've grown of transitioning my business as well. And many people over the years have said, hey, you should combine the two things that you do best, your coaching and consulting and your media, your photography, your videography. And so I'm really excited here moving into this new year to have a new brand of JFI Advisors that I'm going to combine both brand strategies and media solutions to be able to help service-based businesses really dial in their market, their message, and their media. And so bringing in all of those aspects of me, I think going through last year and doing that transition phase and feeling so divided, I'm really excited for this new decade to bring all aspects of me together and really bring that into one brand and one umbrella and really launch that moving forward here in 2020.
Now, with the new year, a lot of people set resolutions. Well, Jill and I did dream boards in May. Jill, do you want to fill them in on a few of the things briefly about what came true on that dream board already?
Yeah, it was really fun. I actually just looked at that here last week. We did the vision boards in May, and at that time I had no idea that I was going to Italy. And on my vision board, I had Tuscan Italy on there, and I had passport and globetrotter, and I also had a suitcase. So I didn't realize I was going to be living out of a suitcase for as long as I was, but I sure did. And there's luxury resort on here, which I got to experience when I was in Italy. Another word that I had on my vision board was the journey. It definitely was a journey across Italy. And something else I have on here as well is savor the world. And Italy is one of the places to definitely savor. I have so many people that ask me, they're like, you had so long, why did you spend your entire time in Italy? Italy has been a place that I've desired to travel to since I was a little girl, and since I saw the movie Under the Tuscan Sun. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. And I actually got to visit the house that the movie was filmed in when I was in Italy. And it was in Cortona, Italy. And that was one of the highlights of my trip, to see something that had inspired me so much to visit and travel to Italy, and then actually to be able to be in the same area. And that was where we stayed at a luxury agriturismo, which is an agriculture resort. It was really cool because the gentleman that owned that resort had actually had the film stars at his resort when they were filming Under the Tuscan Sun. So that was a fun little discovery one day when we were laying by the pool and visiting with the owner. So do a vision board, put those dreams out there, because it definitely can come true.
Well, now we're going to take a quick sponsor break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about what is in store for 2020 and reveal what our word for the year is for each of us.
This episode is sponsored by the book Freedom to Fly, the visionary leader's guide to unlocking your unique freedom code to confidently create more impact, influence, and income. Get your copy of this best-selling book on Amazon.com.
Welcome back to the Time to Fly podcast. This is your co-host, Nikole Haumont, here today with my co-host, Jill Fleming. So we briefly talked about 2019 and how great it was with the different transitions for Jill and the different growth for me in my business. And we're looking at 2020 and the entire decade laid out in front of us. Jill, talk to us a little bit more about what you're going to be up to in 2020.
Well, we talked about a word for the year, and my word for the year is radiance. And what that word means to me is just shining brightly. I know for me, there's been a struggle sometimes about me really putting myself out there and really sharing with people what I can do and my expertise and my skills. And so that radiance is shining brightly. I'm wanting to do more speaking, have more workshops, also shine brightly. I'm always radiant myself when I get to travel and I get to experience new things. So I'm excited to see what's in store for that as well. And I'm excited to really shine a light on growing my business and really moving that forward in 2020. Nikole, what's your word for the year?
My word for the year is prosperity. And I want prosperity in both wealth and health. The last few months, I've been fighting inflammation throughout my entire body, and I've really realized how important having that health in place is necessary in order to create the wealth. So I'm working on getting my own body back into good working condition. I'm currently about 90% of where I probably was, and I can't wait to get to 120% because that means I've improved myself over where I was in Q4 of 2019. And with the prosperity, I'm also starting to grow a second line of income. I might share more about that later on, but it's definitely an exciting time for me to reinvest the profits from my Shield Bar marketing company into this new line of income. And locally, I want to make sure that the Advantage Alliance referral group that I helped co-found grows in 2020 because that will also bring prosperity to the other members in the group since we are a referral networking group. And I'm just planning on dialing in my marketing for Shield Bar marketing itself and go from just a referral-based business to actually actively marketing and doing digital advertising, doing all the stuff I do for my clients for myself. So no longer having the holes in my own shoes like the cobbler's kids. But it's been a great learning experience from 2019, and I really am looking forward to getting that prosperity both in health and wealth started fully in 2020.
Those sounds like really exciting things, Nikole. I know a couple of other things that I'm excited for too is like, even though I'm here in Arizona, I am still working with clients in San Diego and LA areas, and I'm available for travel worldwide. So have passport, we'll travel. One of the things I would love to know from our listeners is, what is your word for 2020? I'd love to hear what that is. If you want to send us a DM on Facebook or on Instagram at Time to Fly Podcast, we'd love to hear from our listeners. And we'd also love to hear how we can contribute to you in 2020 and beyond. We love putting out our own information and wisdom that we pick up in our leading learning experiences and other amazing people that we come across. We'd love to know how we can contribute to you. So please reach out to us and let us know what you'd like to hear more of.
Yes, definitely send us those DMs and let us know your word. Let us know what you'd like to hear. And remember, if you have questions on how to get stuff done, those questions I can answer. If you have questions on the big picture thinking and really dialing in your business and your vision for that, that is Jill. So you get the best of both worlds by listening to our podcast. And we really want to make it about what you guys want to learn.
So this is Jill and Nikole wishing you the best decade yet. And remember, it's time to fly. Give your business wings.
A big thank you to this episode's sponsor, Freedom to Fly, the visionary leader's guide to unlocking your unique freedom code to confidently create more impact, influence, and income. Get your copy of this best-selling book on Amazon.com.
Join our flock. Stay informed of all things Time to Fly by subscribing to our newsletter at timetoflypodcast.com. And be sure to tune in to our next show.